Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Listen, I'm back on YouTube and I'm going to tell you right now why I'm excited about Path of Exile 2. I have been a fan of action RPGs in the past, all the way back to Diablo. And I recently played Diablo 1 playing the Beelzebub mod, and it was so much fun. It was really difficult to where every single corner you were scared about dying from the enemy. That is a type of Diablo experience. That is a type of roguelike experience I like. And unfortunately, through the years, Diablo has not been the same. Diablo 2 is exceptional. Diablo 3, not so much. Diablo 4, pretty cool, but still has not scratched the itch, has not filled the void that has existed since the days of Diablo 2. And many have tried. But Path of Exile 2 is so exciting that it is, I believe at this moment, the second top-selling game on Steam, and it's not even out yet. That's for early access. I plan to play it. I think I can only play it on PC first for early access, and then in the future I'd love to play on my PS5 just because I like streaming from the PS5 and using a controller, but we'll see if I can play on PC tomorrow and go from there. Now, the reason why there's so much hype about this game is because the solid foundation that is Path of Exile 1, but also the lack of trust myself and others that have grown up with video games feel towards the current generation of developers. The majority of people that made Diablo and Diablo 2 so special do not work at Blizzard anymore. In my opinion, it is disingenuous to say that Blizzard is the same studio, or to use the phrase from the studio that brought you Diablo and Diablo 2. No, you are not that studio. You are not the same people. And when it comes to entertainment, when you have a talented group of people working together, they create something special. In order to replicate that special sauce, that lightning in the bottle, it is almost impossible. And so, for years, we have been disappointed with the Diablo franchise. Do you remember Diablo 3 when the servers didn't even work? I was working for NASL at the time, and we had scheduled the entire day to do a Diablo 3 broadcast. And we couldn't do it. And boy, did we feel like fools. And Blizzard felt like fools. And continuously since then, they've had an issue with launching their games properly, on time, on the date that they said they would, especially for folks that took work off, used their vacation days to play the game. So this lack of trust, which is the result of greed, and catering to the investor class and trying to profit as much as you can based off of your IP rather than creating great games that made the IP great in the first place, when the people that are in charge of marketing start to make the decisions for the entire company rather than the folks that have the talent to develop the games. That's the trouble that we're in. So, Path of Exile 2 is an action RPG. The early access is going to feature, I believe, 2 acts, and this is the official website for the game. You can check it out yourself. Act 1, corruption and disease fester in every shadowed corner of the primordial forest of Oghem. If I mispronounce these words, guess what? I'm doing my best just like everybody else. The worn gravestones of Ezamite and Eternal alike mark centuries of bloodshed, a bitterness that has arisen once more due to the return of evil. Act 2, once a lush and verdant land, the Vastiri is now better known for its crimson sands, blackened wastelands, and harsh salt flats in search of trade and oases? I want to say oasis, but I think there's an I in that. But maybe for plural, it's spelled that way. I'm learning. Nomadic caravans cross the harsh dunes, shaded only by the vast ruins of their glorious past. Act 3, the jungles of the inner continent hide the decaying ziggurats of the ancient Val, or Vale. I think Val is cooler. Once the pinnacle of civilization on Ryerclast. Now nothing remains but weathered stone, overgrown temples, and remnants of the cataclysm that ended this once great people. So we got that gothic nature of the world, and this is the world Ryerclast, 20 years, free from the source of corruption, but it looks like things are going to go bad. And here are the character classes available in early access. You got your sorceress, you got your warrior, you got your ranger, monk, mercenary, witch. I'm probably going to lean towards the witch. I had a lot of fun with the witch in Path of Exile 1, and it shows you the different trees. You got the blood mage and the infernalist. I think I was more of a necromancer when I played the first one. So you have special, dual specialize your passive skill tree. Okay, new skill gem system, passive skill tree, and back to the beginning, in-depth equipment system. So this looks pretty good, right? And it gives you the different details of the equipment as you scroll over. Okay, intelligence is always going to be important, especially if you're a mage. And then exploring the end game. So this is the comment that I've seen from a lot of creators on YouTube talking about why Diablo 4 is going to shed players when Path of Exile 2 comes out. And it's because the end game isn't there, at least not there in the way that it should be. Now let's see what the end game is going to be for Path of Exile 2. Completing the campaign is just the beginning. The endgame in Path of Exile 2 includes countless areas and different biomes, powerful crafting, challenging bosses, unique encounters, and much more. Unlock new paths and explore further into the world. There are huge numbers of things to find as you progress through the endgame. You will gain access to special passive trees that can boost the rewards of your maps and change the way the various endgame mechanics work. These trees will make your maps more rewarding, but also more difficult. And looks like they have trials. Progressing through the campaign, grueling gauntlet of roguelike mechanics that will test your strength, will, cunning, and patience. All right, Trial of Chaos. Another way of ascending in Path of Exile 2. Looks like you use a token, go into the trial. So there's just different game types, really, to play. All right, Breach. Several leagues from Path of Exile. The monsters, bosses, rewards, and progressions are all new. Cool, so continuing on for the first game, one of the game modes, Expedition. Ancient burial sites with lost Versunium artifacts. I'm going to have to look up a pronunciation guide. And ritual. Okay, so all these different things that you can do in the game. Face the pinnacle threat. And there's early access, and there's some cool art, and then here's where it's all available for you. All right, so easy breakdown of what to expect in the game. There's plenty of great videos, and there's even guides and tutorials that people are putting out, even though they probably haven't had access to the game on what to do, just based off of Path of Exile 1. You know, making content to feed the algorithm. But for me, I enjoy the challenge. I enjoy having to really strategize, working against an enemy when I'm scared of what's going to appear around the corner. And that's what an action RPG should feel like, in my opinion, when you're going for that Diablo-type feel. Will Path of Exile 2 overtake Diablo 4? I think without a doubt. We're going to see the numbers shift in that direction. But it all comes down to the end game. How much fun is it to still play the game 20, 30, 40 hours in? And as somebody who's getting older and has a lot more priorities in life rather than playing video games, I would much rather have a great 1.5 hour experience than trying to grind for 5 hours straight and finally getting something. And that's what they try to accomplish with Diablo 4, right? Cater to the casual, and I think they did a lot of things correctly to cater to that market. But once you play through the casual scenarios and campaigns, what else is there to do other than expand upon the end game? And if you have diluted the difficulty so much that the end game is just non-existent, then what are we doing here? When you cater too much to the casuals or even too much to the pros, you create an unbalanced experience that has players leaving for something else. Every game has its season, right? But the sheer quality of Diablo 1 with the Beelzebub mod and Diablo 2 shows that when people come together with specific tools, talents, vision, and an art style, don't get me wrong, Diablo I think still has the best art style in all of these games. We'll see what Path of Exile 2 has to offer, but so far it's looking pretty good. When you bring all these elements together, you create truly something special. And these investment groups and conglomerates and huge buyouts is not making the video game space better, it's making it worse. And I think we, as the customers, vote with our dollars and are voting to have more of an experience with Path of Exile 2 than we are to be part of a giant corporation that just got purchased by another giant corporation. Okay, so in a nutshell, Path of Exile 2 comes out early access this Friday. If you are going to play the game, let me know in the comments below which class you're kind of leaning towards. And if you feel like I do about the video game space in general, that there are some serious problems, some serious patterns of failure over and over and over again, and that AAA games, their budgets are just astronomical, beyond what is considered a reality to have a profit, or to invest so much time in a game that by the time it comes out, the trend has moved past what the game is able to offer, clearly there's a problem with leadership in the video game space. Honestly, I think it's two problems. One, greed, and two, immaturity. What do I mean by immaturity? Look at the Game Awards, all right? We're going to have another award show that is more marketing and trailers than it is actually honoring the people that made the games this year. It's the Jeff Keighley Clown Show, where he's done a lot for the space, but he needs to get out of his own way before his ego continues to spiral down into this, oh my God, let's drag on the Game Awards once again. All right? Jeff, get some people in there. Let's get a union or some sort of academy that people can vote on this stuff in a way that feels prestigious and they know what they're talking about. I know he's got a group of people that are putting stuff together behind the scenes, but my goodness, man, the amount of ads last year was just a joke. And also to try to bring in these Hollywood folks, these actors, which I have a ton of respect for actors, I'm one of them, but to try to like have Al Pacino come out and announce the game of the year. What's the last video game he's produced or wrote or directed? Could you imagine, XQC coming out the Academy Awards and handing out an award for Best Supporting Actress? I mean, that doesn't make any gosh darn sense. So let's actually respect the craftsmanship that it takes to create these interactive experiences. Know that they are separate from the film and television experience, even though there's an overlap when it comes to talent, and to respect it as such instead of trying to chase the spotlight from Hollywood so you can sit with the cool kids at the lunch table. All right, we've outgrown that. So hopefully those that are in charge of marketing efforts and are the executives of these companies will realize that, but they won't, and they'll fail. And the AA games and the indie games will continue to succeed. Cool. Anyways, it's good to be back. It's YouTube. You know what to do, and I'll see you online.